Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Veteran of the Year ceremonies for 2020. These awards are usually presented at a wonderful gala with an audience of around 200 people. Due to this year's unusual COVID circumstances, we're adhering to our military tradition of can-do. And that's because we're here in the chambers or auditorium of the Monterey County Supervisors. It's appropriate that we're in this building because our awardees come through the Monterey County Supervisors. There are 2 awardees per supervisorial district, and there are 2 at large. So, in keeping with good COVID prevention practices, this year's Veterans of the Year will wear a mask all the time that they are in this room, except when they are getting the award and going to say a few words. And they are limited to only 1 guest. Your Veterans of the Year are the stars of this show because they found the time to do amazing things. They have juggled home life with the daily activities, plus they have found the time to help others. Let's start today's festivities by standing and honoring the most beautiful colors in the world, the flag of the United States of America. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kindly remain standing as we get the invocation from Mary Estrada.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, today we come together to honor these veterans, worthy men and women who gave their all when they were called upon to serve and protect our country, and who continued to serve their community after they left their active duty. We also honoring today 2 members of our community who have worked for the betterment of our fellow veterans. We ask you, Father, that you bless them for their unselfish service, for the dedication that it takes to continue their service to our community. Please, Father, bless them abundantly for the hardships they faced, for the sacrifices they made, for the many contributions to various causes for which they work. We respect them, we thank them, we honor them, and we are proud of them. We pray that you will watch over them today and all their days. Lastly, O Lord, we ask you to watch over all of and continue to bless all of our veterans. This we ask in your name, amen.
Please be seated. We are very excited about our awardees today, and to show how the whole community is excited about this, we have a few dignitaries that have joined us. We have Congressman Sam Farr, former Congressman Sam Farr. Where are you, Sam? From the Supervisors District, we have Chris Lopez with District 3. Chris? We have Judge Phillips from District 2. And Luis Alejo from District 1. Now, before we begin, I'd like to bring you up to date on somebody who's been coming to our Veteran of the Year ceremonies. He's not here today, and I'm talking about a young Marine by the name of Adam Pelowski. He was introduced about 7 years ago to our group, and he was injured in the Middle East in action, and he was medevaced with severe leg injuries to Walter Reed Army Hospital in Washington, D.C., where he received many surgeries and rehab, and then to San Diego for even more surgeries and more rehab. Though in pain, he eventually went to Columbia University and graduated with a degree in political science. And after graduation and while working in New York for a law firm, he suffered severe PTSD with suicidal tendencies. Fortunately, he has worked through his PhD and is studying now mechanical engineering in Colorado. He continues to be an ambassador for Sentinels of Freedom, and he wants all of you to know that there is no bad stigma in having PTSD. So let's keep Adam and those like him in our hearts and prayers. Now, let's go over the requirements for becoming a Veteran of the Year. You must be a veteran, and you must live in Monterey County. Then, this individual must work and volunteer for the community. There are 2 awards for each supervisor district and 2 at large. This year, we've added a prestigious 13th winner. The second award that we're going to give away today is the Sam Farr Award. This prize is for individuals who have not served in the armed forces, or companies or businesses that have helped veterans' causes. So, awardees, our official photographer is John Gay. John, where are you? He was raising his hand. If you would like pictures from today, please see John outside those doors, outside the auditorium, after the ceremony. And now we'll begin with Supervisor District 1 for the Veteran of the Year. Louis, would you come up, please? And our first awardee from his district is Sam Daniels. His volunteerism includes serving on the Salinas Veterans Day Parade Committee, cooking for the Palo Alto VA Medical Center for special holidays, cooking for the homeless veterans stand down. I'm hungry. And he also served on the Veterans Cemetery Citizens Advisory Committee and much more. Sam, come on down. You're there already. And thank you to Jack Stewart and Sid Williams for nominating Sam Daniels.
Thank you, everyone, for voting for me. It's a very prestigious award, and I'm really honored to have been chosen. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all you do, Sam. I have just been handed a note that says Jane Parker is on Zoom. Hi, Jane. And Charles McKee, the County Administrative Officer, CAO. Charles, thank you for loaning us your room. Okay. Ken Steen, you are next. Ken Steen Jr. has put in many hours as president of the Salinas Old Town Association and the former district manager of the Salinas City Center Improvement Association. He is now devoting his time to the Salinas Veterans Day Committee. Luis Alejo, thanks for nominating Ken, and Ken, this medal is for you.
I want to thank Luis Alejo for nominating me. He's done a great job with the county. Really appreciate what you're doing and your support of all veterans. Thanks.
We have one more for District 1, and then after that we'll go to Chris Lopez's district. Our next awardee is a Luis Alejo nominee. Sabas Villanueva, please step forward. While you're on your way up here, kindly let me tell everyone that you're a proud Army veteran who volunteers with the Salinas Veterans Day Parade. Glad to have you join the class of 2020. You can remove your mask if you'd like to.
I'd like to say thank you to the Military and Veterans Affairs, the Board of Supervisors, California State, Senate, District 12. But most importantly, I'd like to thank every veteran, past and present, their families, their friends, and their support. Thanks for this honor. I salute them.
Supervisor Chris Lopez nominated, this is really interesting, Henry Corda from Gonzales for his outstanding work with and for Monterey County Swiss Rifle Club from 1946 until today. Henry is was an active duty Marine from 1942 to 1945. That makes him a member of the greatest generation. I think we should all stand in honor of this man. They don't make them like Mr. Corda anymore. Henry, come on up and be recognized as a Veteran of the Year for 2020.
I'm going to hold the microphone for him because these gloves are too small for his big hands.
I want to talk to people that got me here. And I grew up in Gonzales, California, on Corda Road down there in the ranch with my dad, family. And the one time I left there, I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. We went up to San Jose and signed up. There was 7 of us. Passed all examinations and everything. Then they tell us to go home to come back January 2nd. But they haven't got the facilities and everything else. They didn't have anything. Went back, ended up San Diego. I'm boot camp down there, here with all the shots, clothes that didn't fit. Some were big, some were small. It's just the beginning of that thing. And then the marches in front of the sergeant's place. There's 60 in a platoon with one leader, 61. He comes out, he looked us all over. He reminded me of my dad when he was trying to buy a horse for the ranch. He said, I'm going to make Marines out of you. It kills me. And the only 2 things you got to know right now is yes, sir, and no, sir, and nothing else while you're out in the parade ground. And when you're in your tent, you're on your own. Then I ended up with the Fifth Marine Division. We went on Iwo Jima. And that was hell there. We split the island like we were supposed to. The 28th went up to Serambati. The 26th and 27th went right. We made a space in there for supplies. 5 days later, they raised the flag. the whole island, the Marines jumped in the air. They were so happy to see that. But the fighting just began. Well, after 3 weeks of that, we were getting ready to, part of us were getting ready to get out of there. And we did. I'm standing here before you. It's 75 years since I've been on that island. I'm 100 years old, and I have a tough time getting around. Thank you very much for inviting me here. I appreciate it. That's it.
I want to be like that at 100. Way to go. Fantastic. That's walking history right there. Our next inductee is also from Gonzales. Paul Guzman, come on up. Paul Guzman was in the Coast Guard and the California National Guard. Paul is the California Boy State Coordinator. He's helped with Disabled American Veterans, the Lions Club, the Monterey County United Veterans Council, Blue Star Moms, and the Order of Purple Heart. Dan Clay, thanks for nominating Paul. And here he is.
Good morning, everyone. Hope this is on. I'd like to thank all the elected officials, the different various service organizations, my family, my wife, and how can you follow Hank after that? And I'll let you know, Hank happens to be still, because we live in Gonzales, neighbors of ours for many, many years. I grew up in the Brockman and Elliott neighborhood. Hank, a bunch of the other gentlemen that lived in our neighborhood, we looked up to as kids. And because of him, thank you, Hank. Thank you.
Chris Lopez, would you please say a few words before you come back up to the dais?
It was a year for Gonzales, and I'll tell you, when we went out looking for people to recognize, and the hardest thing is we find great people and they say, I don't want to be recognized. So I avoided that with Henry. We went around him a little bit, went to his kids and said, we need to recognize your father. When I went around the city of Gonzales talking to the different folks in town saying, we're thinking about doing this, I said, how has it not been done already? So standing here today, we're making it right. And thank you for allowing us to recognize you. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And thank you for all you did, not just in the service, but when you came home, through the Swiss Rifle Club, through all the organizations in town that you helped become what they are today. Gonzales is a shining spot through this entire crisis that we're experiencing as a country. The great articles that have come out of our region are about Gonzales. They're ahead of the curve on nearly everything. And it's because people like you put in the time over the generations to make sure that the city would be successful. And it is a successful town that's extremely close. And that leads me to Mr. Guzman. We know all of the contributions that you continue to give through the Lions Club and through all the other efforts, those civic engagement opportunities that you stood up and said, I'll help. I'm going to continue to help, even though I've done my part, as many might believe. No, you continue to give back to our communities. So recognizing you too, knowing you were neighbors long ago, I heard that story from somebody when I said, these are the two that are coming forward. What do you think? It gives me great honor to put this spotlight on Gonzales and the incredible people who helped make it such a close-knit community, and the contributions not just to the Salinas Valley, but to our country. You are the reason that we get to stand here today, because of the freedom that you fought for our country. And as supervisor of the district, I'm honored to be able to take part in this ceremony to give you the appropriate and due recognition. Congratulations. It is well deserved. Congratulations.
That was well put. I'm honored just to be in the room with Henry. My goodness. World War II veteran in our midst. That's terrific. Now let's go to the home turf of Supervisor Jane Parker. Jane, we're going to introduce you to your people, and then we'll give you a moment at the end after they talk, and then we'll talk to you again at the end of the ceremony, okay? All right. The next awardee is Cindy Dotson, and she was nominated by Sid Williams. Come on up, Cindy. We got a medallion with your name on it. Cindy retired from the Air Force and volunteers at the Gorley VA DOD Outpatient Clinic. She's very active in the Monterey County Military Officers Association of America. And here she is to receive her award.
Thank you very much. I really feel both humbled and very honored for this. And thank you especially to Sid for nominating me and for my good friend, Jeannie Nakagawa. Thank you.
Our next awardee was nominated by a true American hero, Phil Butler, who spent over 7 years as a prisoner of war during the Vietnam conflict. Phil, thanks for pointing out American veteran Roland Fletcher, our next awardee. Where's Roland? Here he comes. Roland volunteered at both the Salinas Valley State Prison and the Soledad State Prison. Roland's efforts have helped many incarcerated veterans, along with creating the first ever Veterans Yard. He is the co-founder of the Veterans for Peace in Monterey County.
Well, we want to thank you all for giving me this award. I'm sure that we probably, everything that we volunteered in the last years or 15 years are all close to us at this time from this COVID crap. And it's very sad that we probably should pick some Zoom guy who can make these meetings available and give him the award. I think you feel like you don't deserve them because you can't go to any can't go to the state prisons. You can't go to the Girls and Boys Club. You can't. You know, it's sad. But anyway, we want to thank you. I want to point out my wife over here. For next year is our 50th wedding anniversary, and she's had to put up with a whole lot with me volunteering and going all over the place. So thank you again. And there are a couple of people I'd like to tell their stories. One is Pinky. Now, who is Pinky? To be a veteran, you have to have good paper when you get out of your service. If you're discharged with dishonorable discharge under the United States, you're not a veteran. Well, I went to the Vet Center here in 1970 and met K.P. Carl, who ran the Vet Center, and he wanted to start a veterans organization for Vietnam vets. Now, why do we need another organization? You got the American Legion, you got veterans of foreign wars. Well, these men could not join those organizations because they weren't considered veterans. They came home with a chip on their shoulder, got in a fight with some sergeant, got kicked out of the Army, all sorts of reasons that they lost their good status. So we formed this group. Well, Pinky, who's one of those veterans who never really made it home, he lived with his mother. Agent Orange killed him very early in his life, and when his sister came to our group one time and said, I want to tell you that you're the only group that allowed Pinky to feel like he was a veteran. So there are lots of things that happen. better, you know. But she said he really felt like he was a veteran. And now I want to tell a story about Vernon Wilderspin. First day of Tet, he was our medic in the three-quarter cav, B Troop, the three-quarter cav. He was killed that day bending over helping another soldier. He was a CO, conscientious objector. He would not carry a gun. He served in Vietnam as honorable as anybody could have served. And I always, when I have a chance, I always tell Vernon's story. Thank you all, and again, it's an honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Roland. Nice stories. The next award is a very special one because it belongs to Salinas Mayor Joe Gunther. Joe died suddenly in June of this very unusual year. He leaves behind a spectacular legacy of public service. He's a Marine who worked on the Salinas Police Department for 32 years, 26 of those as a detective. While he was mayor, he helped with projects like the Youth Alisal Sports Fields, housing for the homeless, the Central Coast Veterans Cemetery at Fort Ord. He was also the director of security at the Salinas Rodeo. He volunteered at the Salinas Women's Crisis Center and the California International Air Show. Thank you, California State Assembly Robert Rivas, for nominating Joe Gunther. Accepting Mayor Gunther's posthumous award for Veteran of the Year are his daughters. Which daughter do we have here? Jody. We have Jody here, Jody Bennett. So thank you very much for coming today and honoring your father.
I never thought in 100 years that I would be standing here accepting this award for my father, but I know that he would be extremely proud, humbled. He loved serving the country. He loved serving the community, and he was a wonderful husband, father, grandfather, son, brother, friend, and thank you very, very much. We appreciate it.
I'd like to thank you so much, and I thank you, my family, and all my American Legion family members. And I just really thank you for this award. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Cheryl. And now, Jane, a few words from you, please.
Thank you, Mr. Presser. I really appreciate your Master of Ceremonies role, and I want to just say it's an honor to be present in this way for this ceremony. It's these medallions and resolutions, and this ceremony is just a set of symbols to express our appreciation for your service, your selfless service to this country, both in uniform, as has been said, and in our communities. And it's we can only honor a few of you each year, and so you also, as you well know, represent the thousands, even tens of thousands of veterans who live in Monterey County, who also just are part of the fabric of what makes this such a wonderful place to live. So thank you for your service, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this morning.
You bet. Thank you. Hang around and we'll see you a little later too. Okay, our next awardee, come on up, Cynthia Campos. Where is Cynthia? Here she comes. She was nominated by the Director of Monterey County Military and Veterans Affairs Office, Jason Cameron. Cynthia volunteered for years as a van driver, taking Monterey County veterans to their Palo Alto medical appointments. She later took over as coordinator for the van service. In addition, she has helped with Shoreline Church program that does repairs, construction, cleaning, and landscaping for local schools and nonprofits. Here is your medal with your name on it. Thank you very much, Cynthia.
First of all, I'd like to say thank you to my Lord and Savior for the strength and the will to serve others and to feel appreciated and to give to others, in return receive the greatest gift of feeling useful and just feeling the reciprocation of love that we put out there in the service that we do for others, but receive so much more in return. I'd also like to say thank you to my husband for putting up with all the very early morning alarm clocks, and just for everything, all the support from my family, my friends, and it is a great source of pride in my life over the last 34 years to be a veteran and to be of use to my country and my community. Thank you.
Cynthia is in District 5, Mary Adams District, and Mary was unable to make it today. We miss Mary. Tom Griffin nominated our next awardee, Army veteran Brad Messinger. Please come up. Here he comes. He's been very active in helping with the following organizations. Get this list: the Veterans Transition Center, Meals on Wheels of the Monterey Peninsula, the Kiwanis Club of Monterey, Leadership Monterey, Monterey College of Law Alumni Association, and the Indian Springs Mutual Utility Company. Whew. Brad, when do you have time to sleep? Tell us all about it.
Well, certainly hearing all the wonderful things my fellow awardees got, I'm very humbled to receive this award. I think, as all of you would say, is, volunteering is just something you don't think about. You just do. And to receive recognition for it, there are a whole lot of people that are behind doing that. So thank you very much, and I tip my hat to all of you. Thank you very much.
Bard, thank you. Thank you for all you've done. Our next awardee is George Riley, a Navy veteran. George has spent much of his free time volunteering in the public interest. He has worked with the League of Women Voters and holds the chair of the Peace Coalition of Monterey County. George now occupies an elected position as well on the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District. He encourages our youth to become actively involved in making the world a better place. Hey, George, glad to see you.
Thank you. Well, thanking the audience who's watching, family, friends, veterans, and so on. I think that's it's unusual. I think Roland made a good point. We should be thanking the Zoom organizers to make all this work. You know, just being recognized is very humbling, and it feels good. It really does feel good. But there are a lot of people out there that aren't being recognized. There are a lot of people in goodwill that just do things over and over and on and on. And to the extent that this process works and recognizes individuals, there's so many people that aren't being recognized. I just want to thank all those out there who are goodwill and have the time and have the commitment and feel like there's a core value of helping the community. And I just want to comment about this divided country in a way. There's a lot of room for building bridges, and I just hope we all can go in that direction. Thank you very much.
And now we come to a very special part of our award ceremony. Sam Farr, please come up. Former Congressman Farr. And he's going to present the Sam Farr Award. Sam has done so much for us that we in turn have created this award in his honor, and he is going to honor other people. But Sam, say a few words first, please.
Well, first of all, I find myself humbled by being back in the Board of Supervisors rooms, and I'd like to just thank my elected colleagues. I spent 6 years on that board, and my first political adventure, and before serving in the State Assembly and then 24 years in Congress. The one thing that I've learned in my life, and probably the most popular saying in Washington, D.C., is that all politics is local. And it really is. I mean, you can see by the election count that they're going county by county in the United States to decide who the President of the United States is, just showing how powerful the politics of America is at the local level. I also learned at an early age, I wanted to go into the military. I was in college in the Air Force ROTC, but I didn't want to go in the Air Force. I wanted to go in the Navy. And when I went down to apply, they found out that I'm not only dyslexic, I'm also I'm wearing glasses. And they said, you're not going to fly planes if you can't see. So I couldn't qualify. And I thought, well, I need something, a lot of adventure. So I joined the Peace Corps. And it was the most exciting and probably the greatest experience in my life. And what I learned by living in another culture is the strength of American culture. And the strength of American culture really comes down to what we're doing today. It's about volunteerism. This is something in our culture that's greater than any other culture in the world. Not only volunteering one's time, but in the resources, personal resources that people have. And when you bring that back to all politics being local and honor the volunteers, kind of the special angels of our community. And I can't think of any organization that I am more proud of being able to help than the veterans who've served our country so well. I served on the committee that did all the infrastructure for the military all over the world. And with that, we've got an interest in being able to bring some of that to our own district because the veterans organizations were really keen on we wanted to have a veterans cemetery here. And despite all odds, you can't have a federal designated cemetery because we're too close to Santa Nella and all kinds of bureaucratic regulations that we couldn't waive. We ended up going through the state process, and even the state wasn't so excited about it. And we changed that. We changed the state law. We changed the state attitude. And now we have a military's veterans cemetery. This is going to be world class. And regardless who, and it's all because of you. It didn't really come from Washington or from Sacramento. It came from the local community. The same thing with creating this, regional state-of-the-art veterans clinic. It was a struggle every minute of the way to even get the services to agree that they wanted to have one-stop medical services for the wives, spouses, and children of veterans, and then to also serve the men and women in uniform as a one-stop place, and then combine that with a whole different organization called the Veterans Department. To get them all under one roof was just an incredible struggle. And again, it was local people, General Gorley and others, who just kept pulling people together, bottoms up, local government, local politics. The thing that nobody knows about that I'm really proud of is that in the fight in Washington was to finally get the Department of the Pentagon and the Department of Veterans Affairs to figure out how can you do billing. You duplicate everything, whole different methodology of billing for the pilot program for the whole nation is run now out of the Marina Clinic. So we're not only just providing services well needed and well deserved for our local community, but in both cases we are setting examples for the way the future veterans and active duty military can combine and collaborate in cost-saving ways and in actually better efficiency and hopefully better medical care. And that's you. That's all about you, because all of this came from a person who was elected out of volunteerism, of people going in and voting and making it happen. So what I'm really pleased too is when we give awards, and you're going to hear about the two women that are going to get this, Denise and Robin, it almost makes me cry when I read what they have been doing in their voluntary capacity. And I just want to say that it's this award, thanks to James Bogan, is named after me, just sort of a civilian that could help veterans, and in this case, two incredible women who are helping veterans. And so, Dan, first of all, thanks for all your great emceeing today. And I hope you will give a great tribute to both Denise and Robin in reading the background of why they are being awarded today.
Thank you very much, Sam. And now to receive the award in your name. The first of our two Samphire awardees is Denise Clay. She's one amazing woman. She is soon to retire from her full-time job as a teacher to autistic adults in the San Jose area. She commutes there every workday, and when she gets home, she volunteers everywhere. Prunedale American Legion, the Auxiliary, and the Monterey County Fair. She's been considering moving to Texas to be with her grandkids, and if she tries to leave the county, we'll have to lasso her and keep her here. Congratulations, Denise Clay.
Thank you to everyone. Mostly thank you to all the veterans who have served so that I can volunteer. I'm an Army brat, and I've been married to a sailor for years. So I am grateful for all that you do and for all that you give to us. Thank you very much for this award. Thank you.
Our second awardee for the Samphire Award is Robin Falconberg. Come on up, Robin. What an overachiever this lady is. She's made hundreds of homeless veterans very happy by clothing them because she's the person in charge of all the clothing dispersed at no cost to homeless veterans throughout Monterey County at the Monterey County Stand Down. She's been doing this since the first stand down at the Rodeo Grounds in 2012. She's on the Stand Down Executive Board as well. And in addition to volunteering for the stand down, she's very involved with the American Legion. And I happened to be at her graduation from CSUMB, which was really wonderful. So thank you very much for everything you do, Robin.
Sorry, I can't breathe. Wow, to be here with all the veterans, thank you all for your service, because of what you have done makes it so much easier for us to do what we do. We volunteer as just a little way of paying back you for your service to our country. This country was formed on the backs of veterans, as a dear friend likes to say. And it is my honor to be out there doing the little bits that I can, just as not even as a way to pay back, but just a way of saying thank you. So thank you.
Not only does Robin do stuff, she walks the walk, because her son is now on active duty in the Army working as a helicopter mechanic, and he's stationed in Hawaii. Oh, how terrible. Now, we would like to ask the supervisors to give us a little roundup, and we'll start over here to my left with Luis Alejo.
Thank you, Dan Presser, and thank you for your remarkable skills at being an MC today. As a board representative to the Military and Veterans Affairs Commission, and as a son, proud son of a Vietnam-era United States Army veteran, it is my honor to be part of this ceremony today. I want to thank everyone who joined us here in these board chambers, and everyone who joined us at home for this 29th annual ceremony that honors some exemplary veterans who continue to give back to their community. I am honored to also be here with my colleagues to pay tribute to our military heroes who serve our country and continue to serve their communities in Monterey County. Their sacrifices, bravery, and heroic actions to help protect our nation's security have allowed us to continue to enjoy our rights and freedoms. But as elected officials, I'm often reminded by my friend James Bogan that we're only able to have this privilege to serve in public office because of the sacrifice of our veterans. So as a public elected official, I'm humbled, and I feel it's my obligation and my responsibility to continue to do all I can to serve veterans, active military, and their families in any way that I can. I really want to thank Sid Williams, the chair of the Military and Veterans Affairs Commission, for really being a true leader in our county, and also Jason Cameron for his staff and his whole team for putting the ceremony together. But every day, every week, every month, they're continuing to provide great and increased services to veterans in our county. But just to our District 1, I didn't have an opportunity to say some words, but I really want to just commend Sam Daniels, Ken Steen Jr., and Sabas Villanueva for being true role models and the heroes in my book for their endless work. They don't do it to get any recognitions. They do it because they truly believe in giving back to their community and serving their fellow veterans. And for me, I really want to take my hat off and salute them for their tremendous work. But I did want to just tell you some few words about my late good friend, Joe Gunter, because this year has been, I think, a really hard year for all of us for a lot of different reasons. But to lose one of the most dedicated public servants that I've ever met in my political career, it's been a sad thing for me, because me and Joe work really closely on a lot of issues, including standing up for the least among us in our community, the poor, the homeless. And last Thanksgiving, and as this holiday is approaching, it reminded me of Joe and I serving here just a few blocks away at the Methodist Church. And we were serving turkey and ham right next to each other. And when the homeless came in, and they all said hi to the mayor, and when they came give him a hug, he gave him a hug back. It just showed the dignity and respect that he had for every resident in Salinas. And that, for me, showed what kind of person he was. And he worked from early morning to late at night. Being mayor in Salinas doesn't pay hardly anything. He didn't do it for the money. He did it because he believed in giving back to his community in this way, and he did it very well. So I really want to commend him, and I thank you for recognizing him today, because he really deserves this recognition and a lot more. And so I just wanted to really say thank you for that. And Sam Farr mentioned we accomplished this veteran cemetery, most recently the burials. We accomplished a clinic that provides quality medical services to our veterans and their families. But I think the next goal I want to announce, my next goal that I hope to start working on next year, is to bring a veterans home. My father just passed away just a few days ago, And having gone through hospice with him and having taken several months this year to take care of my father, it really showed how important those services are to our seniors who are disabled or who are needing more intense medical care or who need hospice services. The nearest veterans home is in Napa, so it's time for us to bring those services here to the Monterey Bay. So I look forward to working with my colleagues and other elected officials and our veterans in the community to bring that and make that a goal here on the Central Coast. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Luis Alejo from District 2, and now, District 1, and now let's go to Judge Phillips with District 2.
Good morning. I'd like to thank everybody for being here, but also I'd like to thank all the veterans, obviously, for your service. And it's, by the way, we should mention that Supervisor Adams couldn't be here because she had shoulder surgery yesterday and is recovering. So I thought it was only right to say that. And this is one of my favorite events to attend as a supervisor because you get so much respect. And finally, our country is starting to recognize veterans and the importance they did. And for those of us who grew up during Vietnam, and I was in the Army Reserve during Vietnam, you go to the airports and you see how we were treated and how the people who were fighting for the nation were treated when they came home. It was really terrible, especially what they went through and then how they weren't appreciated and recognized like we're trying to recognize veterans these days. So this is a special day for me because some of these people, Ken Steen, I've known Ken for 25 years. Albert Maldonado, I've known him for 30 years. We served on the bench together, obviously, and of course, my good friend Joe Gunter. Jody knows that we were friends for 45 years, worked together as a cop and a DA on all kinds of cases, and then had the good fortune to work together as elected officials years later. So he was real proud of his Marine service and never shied away from it. So all of you, congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you, Judge. Chris, you had some really outstanding awardees coming out of District 3. Thank you for nominating them, and now you're on.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everybody in the room. What makes this country strong is community. And as Sam, our former congressman, said, it's all local. All politics are local. And what gives us that strength is community, the way we support each other and the way we support those issues that are important to our communities. And I know that the veterans community is a very tight-knit one. I see the brotherhood, and I see the fact that everybody's got each other's six. Any time that something's up, you see them band together. Earlier this year, we had an awesome food distribution in the community of Soledad, and this group of veterans showed up. And it was like nothing I'd ever seen before. They were so tight in making sure that every family was taken care of. And there was that extra care to detail. When a family car went through and there was children in the car, they'd come back and say, is there any candy bars back there? We had this little station with the candy bars, and they'd hand those to the kids. It's about taking care of one another. And today what we're doing here is recognizing you for those efforts. We appreciate your service, and what you did is something that this country will never be able to repay you for. We'll fight till the end to do our best to do that, but what you sacrificed for us is insurmountable, and we appreciate that. And we're going to fight as elected officials, as those people who are very lucky to receive the vote to represent our communities here, to make sure that you get the recognition you deserve, and also the services you deserve, and all of the appropriate treatment that you are due. And so as I sit here today as a representative of my community, I see community, a unique community within a community that I want to thank for all of your efforts, not just in the past, but today. I know so many of you are still active, still putting in the time, and still making sure that our community has what it needs in its moments of crisis, and especially when folks don't feel seen. You guys shine the light and say, this is an issue that we need to address, and we'll respond. But it's you guys who take care of one another and who show us the way it should be done, and that is the unique nature of the community of veterans. And we step aside every year during this time to recognize you. And so today, sitting up here with my colleagues, we say thank you. Thank you for what you're doing, and we ask for your continued collaboration. Keep reaching out. Tell us what we need to do, because you are a unique voice for that community, and we'll continue to have your six. And thank you for being there for every single veteran in Monterey County in your unique form, whatever you're doing, if it's driving veterans, if it's supporting community through food drives, through distributing dinners on Thanksgiving. And to the family of my good friend, Mayor Gunter, he was that perfect example, and I know that he might not be in this room with us today, but his legacy is. So many people learn from watching him do that work. You learn best by watching somebody set the example, and Joe was that example for everybody in this community. We didn't know him as Joseph or Mayor, we knew him as Joe. Joe is ours. Joe is still ours, and his legacy lives on in this community through you and through all those efforts that he leaves behind in the form of the unique nature of Salinas' willingness to give back to its community. Everybody is passionate. Just as Joe led us, we will continue to serve. So thank you for allowing us to have that extra time that he gave to this community, because as Supervisor Alejo said, it wasn't like there was a huge paycheck there waiting for him at the end of every month. He did it out of the goodness of his heart and out of an understanding that came from a unique community of veterans. So thank you all once again from the bottom of my heart, and I'm just honored to be in this room with you all today.
Well, thank you for those kind words. And now we'll go to, via Zoom, to retiring Supervisor Jane Parker.
Thank you, Mr. MC. Thanks for the opportunity to speak again and to be part of this important ceremony. I want to thank the organizers. It's really important that we honor you all, that we thank you, and that we provide services to any and all of you who need those services when you need them. I won't say a lot more. The words are important, but part of why you're being honored is because of your actions. And so I want to invite and encourage you to continue to help us as county elected officials, as county staff, as community members, to continue to take actions that care for our community in all of the ways that we need it. So thank you so much again for your service in uniform and in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Supervisor Mary Adams, as you have heard, I just said she wasn't here earlier. I didn't know if I was supposed to say she had surgery, but now that it's out, she would have loved to have been here, because she has participated in almost every one since she got elected, if not everyone. So we miss her today and hope she gets well quickly. Sam, is there anything you'd like to add at this point?
I want to, especially James Bogan's in the back of the room, but he amplifies the incredible desire to look at our community as a whole, and particularly the veterans. And I think what we for all of you, and for those that are on the staff of the County Veterans Office, do an incredible service. I'm just hoping, we're in the midst of an incredible dilemma in our country, as we're going to elect a president. It looks like Joe Biden's going to get elected, and yet you're going to have all this dissension going on trying to stop that. That's wrong. That's not American, and we've got to accept the results of an election, and we have to do that again at the local level, and hopefully that this county and this great state of California will pull together to really show the nation that we can accept results, and we can continue to use our differences, to talk about our differences in places like this, in boardrooms like this, where we have an elected body and where we have accessibility and accountability. There's just too much at risk right now to be tearing our nation apart. And I think what veterans and the tribute to veterans shows is that you can do this, because we don't talk about veterans as being red veterans or blue veterans or Democrats or Republicans or anything else. We don't talk about them in a political sense. We talk them about as people who have volunteered to serve in our military and to come home and continue to serve in our communities. That's the kind of attitude we need to amplify as we move forward from this week and in the months ahead. So I just want to thank you all for coming out on a day like this. It's been a long time since I've even had a coat on. I realize it's been I haven't even been in a meeting where we've saluted the flag, because I've been living down on the coast, and it just brings me back into sort of civilian reality of what a great community we have, a great nation we have, and that's a tribute to all of you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you do to make this place the best place in the world to live.
Sid Williams would like to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much for attending. I would like to congratulate the class of 2020 as a class and all of you individually. You notice that I wear the medallion just like you were given today. And in the future, every time we have a Veterans Recognition Ceremony, I encourage you to come, and I encourage you to wear your medallion to show that class that is coming after you that you support them as much as we support you. Keep doing what you do. Without the things that you do, the community here in Monterey County would be far worse than what we're experiencing today. So thank you very much. Thank you to Sam Farr for coming to present the award. Thank you to the supervisors for taking time to be here. Thank you to Dan Presser for doing a magnificent job as the MC again. Keep in mind, as we leave today, November 11th is Wednesday. It is Veterans Day. And take the time to say thank you to yourself and all those people that came before you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sid. What an honor it has been for us to have introduced you to the year's new Veteran of the Year. In addition to those being honored, we need to thank those who are behind them as well, loving wives, husbands, and significant others who probably spent many hours alone waiting for their veteran volunteer to return home. Even though today's 13 honorees will be going home with their medallions, we need to keep in mind that they and those in the years before them are merely custodians of this award. Those wearing or who have worn this medallion have dedicated themselves to helping individuals who have worn the sacred uniform of the greatest nation on earth. Our goal is to serve those who have helped guard our nation, no matter what the gender, sex, skin color, religion, or sexual orientation. We who have served, we now serve them. Often at events like this, you are asked to reach into your pockets for donations to help others. We prefer to ask you to reach into your very soul and ask, have I done enough? Your answer is private and can only come from deep within inside you. So reach deep, my friends. What answer did you come up with? If you can do more, please join us. That way, you too can share in this award. Perhaps our awardees and those of earlier times are the current custodian of your medallion. And before we finish up, we'd like to have a benediction from Mary Estrada. So please come forward.
Let us pray. Oh, Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for having the opportunity to honor the people here today who have served their country. We also would like to recognize all of the people that organized this and are also all of those who served the public welfare. And lastly, O Lord, before we go our separate ways, we want to remember once again our servicemen and women, asking for your comfort and care and having you to help them come home safely to their loved ones. We ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thanks for coming, everyone, and for viewing, those of you who are watching, and a huge thanks to the Monterey County Board of Supervisors, the Military and Veterans Affairs Advisory Commission. Go ahead and clap. The United Veterans Council and the Monterey Military and Veterans Affairs Office. Jason Cameron, raise your hand, Jason, and Joe Ferrante. Remember, if you would like pictures of this procedure, please see John Gay outside the doors, and we look forward to seeing you in the next year, 2021, and let's hope it's better, for the Veterans of the Year Award. This is Dan Presser saying, stay healthy and have a great day. Thank you for coming.